There are 22 teams and 19 bike brands in action at this year's Tour de France. But which are the best, which are the worst, which are the hottest bikes, and which are the biggest losers? In this video, I'm going to rank every single bike from worst to best. There are no rules in this ranking, just based on my personal opinion and preference. And you can let me know how much you disagree by leaving a comment down below. Okay, let's dive in. But before we do, a quick word from today's sponsor, Squarespace. If you're building your online brand this summer, you definitely need a professional looking website, and Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that makes it quick, easy and affordable. You can easily build a beautiful website to sell your own products using a powerful e-commerce platform, grow your business using their email campaigns and social media tools, or you can just start blogging. They have a massive library of templates to get you up and running with none of the hassle, powerful analytical tools and around-the-clock support. And if you like the sound of that, you can get a free trial right now using my link down below in the description. And if you enjoy it, you get 10% off your first purchase. Okay, let's dive into the best and worst bikes at this year's Tour de France. And we'll start with the ugly duckling of this year's race, the Bianchi Ultra RC, as being ridden and raced by the Arkea Samsic team. Sorry Bianchi, I love you as a company, the heritage and history, and you have made some stunning bikes over the years, but this new one isn't that. That handlebar, the rear end, but thankfully at least the boring black paint jobs we've had so far have been replaced by a new modern twist on the iconic Celeste colourway, a colour that's as famous as the bike brand. So the paint jobs do look really cool, very snazzy indeed, but the frame they're on isn't really a looker, at least in my eyes. The Israel Premier Tech Factor bikes are also hard to get excited about, as are the Lotto Destiny Ridley bikes. They got new bikes out this year, but they didn't look visually that exciting, and the paint jobs are fairly boring black, so not really much to talk about here. Let's move on. The Canyon Air Road, being ridden by Mathieu van der Poel and his Alpecin Deceuninck teammates, usually look pretty boring in their standard team colour, but luckily the Dutch sensation has a special colourway just for himself, and it looks pretty cool. And I personally think a white bike, despite being an absolute pain to keep clean, always looks absolutely fresh, and paired with the right bar tape, shoes, helmet and kit can look really sharp and definitely very shiny. Ineos haven't brought anything new and exciting to this year's race, so we have the same red to blue fade we've had for the past season or so. It kind of looks okay, I don't mind it actually, and it's a big departure from the old Team Sky all black bikes, which were pretty boring. So over the years they have got bolder and added more colour to the bikes, and I think on this Dogma F they look pretty smart, but nothing new and exciting for this year's race, which is a bit of a shame. The Bora Hansgrohe team have one of the best jerseys in the Tour this year, in my opinion. I love that chunky pattern colour design. I think it looks really strong and really contemporary. But sadly, they haven't done a great job of bringing that, transferring it to their specialised race bikes. They have tried to, but it's not very successful. I think they could have done a better job in marrying that kit and frame design in a look that I think would have been really strong and definitely higher up this list. Another team on specialised bikes, Soudal Quickstep, also have a fade like Ineos, but this time a very subtle black to blue fade. Makes a nice change from all the black bikes we've had so far, but I think they could have been a bit bolder and may move the design on a step further. But it's a nice attempt to do something a bit different from all the boring black bikes that are so prevalent in the Tour de France peloton. Jumbo-Visma is the most successful team in the Tour de France this year, but their bikes are very boring to look at. They've been running this black and yellow look for the last 2 or 3 seasons, and I'm a bit bored of it and ready for something new and exciting. They have, though, it has to be said, given Jonas Vingegaard a custom paint within that very constrained black and yellow colourway, with a nice starry-eyed night design that looks good up close, but from a distance it looks the same as the other team bikes. So a missed opportunity to bring a fresh, exciting, dynamic new colourway to the bikes to match their new jerseys. The Scott bikes being ridden by Team DSM do attempt to stand out from all the black bikes, and we have this interesting mix of a pearlescent finish with a stripe design that I've not seen before, and looks fairly modern and fresh, but still fairly understated and a bit subdued. So I think a bolder mix of colours, some nice bright colours, would have brought it to life a bit more and helped the bike stand out, because they definitely need help standing out and they get lost in that sea of black bikes that are so popular right now. Despite having the most exciting rider on their bikes this year, the Colnago V4 RS bikes are very, very hard to get excited about. I just reviewed the bike and spent a month with the bike and living with it, and even in that time, the look, the colourway hasn't grown on me at all. I like the flash of red on the fork dropouts, but the rest of the bike is pretty boring really, and not nearly as exciting as the way Tadej Pogačar rides. And Colnago have a strong history of very bold, very elaborate paint jobs. I love to see some of that tradition and heritage come back to the future with a more daring approach to the way their frames look. The Lapierre bikes, being ridden by the Group Arma team, do have a very distinctive frame to start with the Zelios having that old GT triple triangle type design. But they have tried to buck the all black stealth look by adding this interesting daisy chain that wraps around the frame tubes that up close looks really quite detailed, and I like what they've done. I'm not sure the story behind the design, but it does look kind of cool up close. A nice attempt to bring some flair of design to the bikes, but definitely an opportunity to go even bigger and bolder. There are lots of familiar bike brands at the Tour de France, of course, lots of bike brands that have been in the peloton for many, many years, Specialized, Trek, Cannondale, Bianchi and so on, although Bianchi on and off over the last few years. A brand new name this year is Dare, a Taiwanese company, and they are sponsoring the Uno X Wildcard team. And they had an opportunity here to really make a splash and really make a big announcement of their arrival in the Tour de France peloton. But the bikes are just all black with white logos and just looks fairly boring, because it's hard to get excited about another black bike with white logos on the down tube really. Now, Merida is a brand that are usually hard to get excited about, although they offer amazing value for money and their bikes always ride really well, like the Reacto and the Sculptura. Really good bikes, really underrated. I do like their orange phase they normally have on their race bikes, but this year's Tour de France sees a brand new pearl-inspired paint job, and I think they look really good in a classy, civilized way rather than a bold, punchy, ambitious style. But sort of bike I can see myself actually riding and buying, given how strong that paintwork looks. Actually, to our Citroën, get some very smart looking BMC race bikes. They're on a Team Machine for the most part, and I think the Team Machine in various paint jobs over the last few years has been one of the best looking bikes out there. This year they have a sort of mellow mild blue with a bit of red on the top tube, which I think looks okay. I think the colours just about work together, but I think their previous efforts with more white were more successful. So I think it's a good looking bike, not the worst, not the best, but definitely higher up the list than some of the other bikes so far. They also have a new Time Machine prototype with a sort of black stealth camo paint job going on, and prototype bike with that camo always look good. As some of you might know, as I had mentioned it before here on the channel, I do love a fade on a bike. And Total Energies also have a Specialized with a red fade, and I think it looks really good, and it's sort of bike I could happily see myself riding. I love red, I love a fade, it ticks a lot of boxes for me. Not the most exciting, but a good looking bike indeed. The EF Education Easy Post team are riding a brand new Lab 71 Super 6 Evo from Cannondale, and I do like the sort of panel design with a bit of pink, a bit of white and different colours here and there to try and match their jersey. And I think it's a bike that looks really good, really fresh, really modern. That panel design suits the proportions of the new Super 6 Evo really well. A nice way to showcase the Lab 71, which is all about, or partly about, really premium high level paint finishes. Giant definitely need to stand out, and the white, blue, chunky panel fade design does look good. They've been running it for the last couple of seasons, so it's not a new look, but I think it's still a look that works well. It's aged well. Not the most sophisticated or refined look, but it definitely helps the bike stand out, and I do like it. Not sure if it's a paint job that would transfer to normal riding away from the Pro Peloton. Definitely looks like a race team livery rather than something you want to buy. But let me know if you think differently. Right, we're into the top 3, so time for the final countdown. And number 3 is a bike being ridden by Team Cofidis, who scored their first win in 15 years. And they have the brand new Look 795 Blade, a lightweight semi-aero bike that looks really good. Definitely a bike I want to review here on the channel. And what I love about the bike is the Mondrian colorway. Something that Look have been doing for years and years, sort of their thing now really. But the bold colours on the slim frame work really well, better than previous attempts in my mind. As a bike I'd happily buy and own. I think it looks really, really good and definitely stands out amongst a sea of boring black bikes in the Pro Peloton. In at number 2 on my list is Astana with their Wilier team bikes. The Italian company doesn't do a bad paint job. Every paint finish they put out looks amazing. From the stock red on the Falanti I reviewed a few years ago to that new marble finish that echoes the frozen finish by Colnago, I think they look amazing. And Mark Cavendish in his final season with the team has a custom paint finish. Don't think it's the best custom signature frame I've ever seen, but it does look really good and it is one of the best looking bikes in the Tour de France this year. And so to number 1, and it is the Trek Madone being ridden by Mads Pedersen, who has an amazing new colorway option from Trek. Looks hot as you like. I think it looks fantastic. I buy this bike and its paint job in a heartbeat. Looks amazing. So Trek is calling this new finish, which is available through their Project One. So if you like it, you can buy it if you have deep pockets. And they call it Ultra Iridescent and it looks amazing. Different colours here and there and different parts of the frame. Looks really, really hot. I can't get across how good this bike looks. I can even live with a massive too large Trek logo on the down tube for the way the paint job pops in the sunlight. This is a bike I'd happily buy. I think it looks absolutely amazing. So the Trek is the best looking bike in this year's Tour de France in my humble opinion. So there we go, my roundup of the hottest and ugliest bikes from this year's Tour de France. And if you want to see some more Tour tech news, watch the video right here. And don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button right here. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon.